Bonjour and welcome to the Lancome Makeup Atelier. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for achieving the perfect eyebrows. So I've already done my base. I've used Teint Idole Ultra 24 and I've put black mascara on. For my brows today, I'm going to use the Sourcils Definis pencil, and this is a really good twist-up pencil. Now, how you do your brows really depends on what issues you have with them, whether they're thick, whether they're sparse, whether they have gaps, and also the kind of look that you want to achieve. I think in general, we all want our brows to look tidy but full and natural. So I'm going to show you how I do mine. A really good way of creating the high point of the brows is to brush them down. This feels kind of unnatural, but once you've done that, you can go in and put lots of light feathery strokes with the pencil. And this creates a base. It almost creates the sort of architecture on which the brow is built. Then brush back over. And this gives a really natural looking arch. Then using the pencil again at the outer edge, again lots of really feathery fine strokes, and keep brushing. If you make a mistake, you can use a cotton bud just to clean up any mistakes that you make. I think don't press too hard, because if you do, you'll end up with a very obvious line. Better to keep your wrist kind of really loose and just keep building up those very small, fine strokes. This pencil is great if you have really sparse brows, because you're able to draw really fine lines that look exactly like hairs. So just build into those gaps. At this outer edge, you don't want to drag your brow down too much, because it can make your face look quite sad. So really from the high point, try and bring sort of the line up and out, because if you come in too severely down, it really closes your face. And again, try not to come out too far. So a rough guide would be to hold the pencil at the corner of your eye, corner of your nose, through your eye and up there, and that's really as low as you want that brow to come. If it comes down and it's closed, it really changes the look of your expression. The inner corner can be very, very tricky, so keep the strokes very, very light and don't come in too far, because it can make you look angry. So be guided by a pencil from the corner of your nose straight up. And I think personally I like to keep this corner quite soft, so I like it when there's lots of little brush strokes, so it looks like it's almost not been penciled at all. If it gets very boxy here, it can look very artificial. So before you start your second brow, just step back, look into the mirror and have a look at your first brow, and you might find that one brow is slightly higher than the other, or one brow is maybe thicker than the other. And if you want to change the shape, just bear that in mind. So look back at the first brow and you might want to just tweak one brow a little bit higher or one brow a little bit lower. You can do this really simply just by adding a few extra strokes in the right position. Having said that, don't get hung up on perfect symmetry, because it doesn't really exist in faces. So your brows are fine to be slightly different, as long as they look natural and they look polished and well done. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to get perfect symmetry. So I'm just going to do exactly what I did on my first brow. This brow is slightly higher for me, so with this brow I'm going to put a few extra strokes underneath the arch there, just to give the illusion of flattening it out a little bit. I'm going to buff the arch. And then the same thing at the front, just lots of really fine feathery strokes. And then at the outer corner on this brow, I'm going to bring it down a little bit lower, because it's naturally different shape there. And then just really buff and brush that out. And I think even just having a good look at your brows one day when you're not wearing any pencil or any makeup, and just analysing them, having a look, oh yeah, that one's slightly higher, that one's slightly lower. So when I pencil make this one flatter and that one higher. It will just really kind of help you to get it down so you can do your brows really, really quickly. And I think my main tips are just really go for those fine, feathery strokes. Make sure you blend well, use a cotton bud and step back every now and again just to check that your brows are looking great. When it comes to choosing the right shade of pencil, be careful that you don't choose anything that's too red or too dark, because both of these elements can make your brows look really, really unnatural and also make your face look quite unnatural. So you're better off choosing a brow shade which is not too much darker than your own natural brow colour, and going more for ashy tones, unless you happen to be a redhead, but most people generally suit the more ashy browns and ashy shades. To finish my makeup very simply, I'm going to apply a little bit of peachy toned blush. And some bright lipstick. So that's a simple statement makeup to go with my perfectly penciled eyebrows. And I think the key messages are to keep those strokes really light and feathery, particularly if you're filling in gaps. You want to create the illusion of hair, so lots of very fine feathery strokes will work much better than a severe harsh line which always looks unnatural. Keep the front end here close to the nose, again as natural as possible, because when it's very severe here it can change your expression completely. And in terms of colour, I do recommend avoiding pencils which are too warm or too red if you don't naturally have that within your brows, and also pencils which are much too dark because they always look quite obvious. And I guess another thing to add would be, if you can, try not to over pluck in the first place, but I know you guys already know that. So come and see me again soon at the Lancome Makeup Atelier. A bientôt!